Hello and welcome. Welcome, Sorcha,
Thank you very much.
to our live that we're doing in person here from my office in County Clare. That we are co-facilitating. Well, Sorcha's facilitating. I feel like I'm hosting and organising, and you're facilitating event that we've already done once. It's called Forest Singles, and we're going to this most amazing place in Wicklow, Ballygannon Woods, down by the river in the woodland, to host this event. And I invited Sorcha to jump on live with me so we could record a little video and just like have a chat about what brought us to organising this event, what inspired us, and also like what we noticed as the benefits, because there was some very clear things that stood out. Also the fact that the feedback was like amazing, and there's people who've been to all sorts of events and the different types of singles events that we do, like workshops and hikes, and then they joined the Forest Singles and said it was their favourite yet. So I know these things are super personal as well. Like other people might like an inside workshop space better and more a different structure, but for a lot of people the woodlands the woodland event seemed to work,
The
right?
place to be, totally, yeah.
So Sorcha, let's start by introducing. I'm going to share a little bit about how we met. So we were both working as gardeners in Irish Seed Savers. So I was working as a gardener, and Sorcha came. You had just finished your organic
my organic horticulture training, literally fresh off the course. So Seed Savers was my first real job in horticulture. So, and Sinéad being there a few years was teaching me everything that I needed to know about the job and everything. And how long were we working there together then? It was
probably about a year, close to a year.
Yeah, a little over, about that, yeah.
So I felt like there was this, like just a shared love for being outdoors and being in nature. And when we would like go camping and doing stuff together, it was just like, it just works.
Yeah.
And it's not with all my friends that I have that, but I have a few girlfriends that I have that with, and I'm like, oh, this just works. Like, we're uncomfortable in this somewhat uncomfortable, what can be an uncomfortable environment, like being outdoors in all weathers and making fires and putting up tents and tarps and doing the things.
You think you might, like to work with someone, especially doing something outdoorsy, and it can sound quite like, like this lovely idealistic thing, but when it's the middle of winter and your hands are frostbitten and you're trying to put sandbags or tires from one place to the other, and you've got full rain gear on, and you're still having a laugh and getting on and working really well together. I think that was good sign.
It was. So you went away and did a training, a forest school training.
Yes.
I love that when you initially spoke to me about this, we actually had this idea for Forest Singles then, which has been quite a while. But you decided to focus that training on adults, like to bring Forest School to adults. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Like, what is Forest School for adults?
Absolutely. I'll start with what is Forest School in general, just for people who might not have heard of it. So Forest School is this idea it was developed for children initially, where children would be brought into a woodland environment. And it's not exactly school in the sense of there's a curriculum and there's specific things to learn even about the woods. The idea is more that the children are in this space. There's lots of activities that they can do, like usually you would have, maybe clay or things to paint on, often a lot of tools like saws and knives and ropes and things to climb trees. And it's the idea that the participants are self-guided in whatever they want to do. So they go in and make use of the space in a respectful way. I suppose that would be a bit of the teaching that does come in, is that it's, having a sense of reverence and an awareness of nature in the space, that you're not just going down and wrecking it. You're kind of learning about the plants and to treat them with respect and that kind of thing. And that self-directed part was really essential to help the participants just develop in themselves and develop a connection to nature as well. Like you're not just coming in and being told like exactly what to do. So this I don't know where I'd come across it as an idea, but I'd been thinking about it for a little while, and then there was a course that I joined almost 2 years ago now, actually, like over a year and a half ago. And then I didn't know at the start whether I wanted to do it with kids or adults. I suppose I was learning what it was about, and then the more the course went on, the more people I talked to about it, the more I was just like, oh, adults could really benefit from this, like specifically, like having fun also, and all the different elements, maybe especially in an Irish forest school, that you would do, like learning about the Celtic Wheel of the Year and the Irish names for the trees and the Ogham, the ancient alphabet system for the trees and the symbols. And the folklore around the trees, like certain ones you should ask permission before you cut them, and all this kind of stuff that goes with it. Just that this would be such, like adults would also love this and benefit from it in all the ways that children don't, especially because so many adults, might not have had that experience as children. So it's kind of like it's still there to be had, and so many people these days are in, they're in offices, or they're in their house to an office and their car and they're back, and it's a lot of built environment and a lot of being inside a room, and just having the ability to connect in with nature is really good. So I did that, did the course, did a pilot program where I had adults as participants on the pilot program, small group, like there was about 8 in total. And everyone really liked it and got a lot out of it. So I've been working since then with like how best to do that, because you can't really exactly replicate what you were doing with kids with adults, some things, because you don't want to make it too like childish either. So so it's been a process of figuring that out since, and wow.
I imagine that there's like so much scope for what you can actually do under this umbrella. And just a few things that came to mind for me when you were talking is like, the first is that I recognized recently that if I am working on my screen, spending more time on my screen than I am outside in nature, that's when I begin to feel like I'm experiencing an imbalance. And it's like my system comes into dysregulation, and I know that I really lean on being in nature and being in nature. Let's just say that, doing things in nature, being in nature, walking, working, whatever it is, gardening, I really appreciate that, as how much that helps me to regulate and stay grounded and supports like so much of like processing and creative process, and just like allowing myself to feel different emotions that I might have suppressed. And there's like just a whole scope of things, as well as like appreciation of beauty and appreciating pleasure, and so many ways in which it nourishes me. And if I'm on my computer more than I'm spending time outside, I was like, this is how I identify this. And I'm lucky to still be working as a gardener, and by default then I like get this like 8 hours a week where I just am outside. I'm working with plants, and I'm like, okay, great, this is like keeping me in balance. And then the whole piece that you shared around like the alphabet that's based on trees, and I feel that there is this deeper reconnection then that's happening actually on a very subtle level, where we are woodland people without a woodland. And a lot of people in Ireland may not even realise that actually we are woodland people without a woodland, and our landscape has been scalped. And as a result, the whole way in which we organise as a society has shifted, because we don't live in a woodland anymore, but everything used to be based on the woodland, right? And I know this is like, we're going way off now from the singles event, so this is just a topic that I'm like so interested in. And when I was listening to you speak, about these different elements that can be brought in the like Irishness of what you're doing, it really connected me to that. Like, this is nourishing on such a deeper level than nervous system regulation, or, you know, the chemicals that you experience when you're in the woods. Is actually like, yeah, it's just touching something much, much deeper. That's, I feel, a path that's opening to our society now recently, where there is more awareness around our heritage and our connection to the land and trees and landscape and language also, that's like interwoven into all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's off topic, but it's not really, because, you know, because it is all there's a reason, I suppose, why this, you know, having people attend a singles event in a woodland is so resonant for people, you know, because it is connecting it's connecting not just with other people, but with what it is to be like them themselves in a woodland space, which is, you know, yeah, as you were saying, there's a, you know, maybe an epigenetic memory there. I mean, no matter what someone's background is, you know, that's going to be there. You know, like it's only very recently that we've been so without trees. And yeah, like as you were saying, like Ireland, you know, I think there is a real awareness of that coming back to people. You know, all this talk about like people looking at like their townland names, and the townland names having the names of trees in them, you know, and like anywhere you see like Derry or Dara, you know, all these kinds of places that would have been oak specifically, woodland places. And I think, yeah, like there's a real desire to connect in back to that, and it's interesting how it's happening in loads of different places. You know, like there's a big wave of like rewilding, and then that looking like reforesting, and then even people like Home Tree doing the native tree nursery, and that being incredibly, like, I think, successful, and, you know, people really engaging with it and wanting to volunteer, and just loads of energy around this at the moment, which is really, really exciting.
So I want to kind of keep going, but I'm going to bring it back to like the event, because on that kind of thread, I think, especially because these are like topics that we're both so hard connected to and passionate about, we could just like go off in a whole other direction now here. So we decided to do a forest school for adults singles event. There is nothing else like it. Like, definitely not. We had been hiking already with Conscious Singles, and the hikes have been amazing. And I loved the hiking, and I also felt like this year, like, okay, I'm ready to do something new. And I was like, I feel excited about this. Like, when we started talking about it, and like, it excited me. And that's really where I get my directional arrow for whatever events I choose to hold. It's like, what do I feel really excited about, as well as what do I think is needed. And ultimately, when people were signing up, I was like, whoever's going to come to this event is just going to be great, because anyone who's willing to spend a half day in the woods and sign up to an event when they have no idea what the weather's going to be like is going to be a great group of people. As it was, we had amazing weather. So asking for the same thing for the 18th, please. And just to be in amongst these beautiful old trees. The location was the venue. The location was amazing. And I think I'm going to start with like my biggest takeaway was noticing, and I've held a lot of singles events, like hundreds of people have come through singles events with Conscious Connections. At this event, everybody was just so much more regulated than they have been at any other event. And that, in a way, blew my mind, because it was so obvious. It was like, people come and they're nervous, and they're maybe nervous coming to this event anyway, and we're all like meeting in the car park, and it's a little bit edgy, and we're walking down, and we're like, oh God, what's going to happen? Like, that's normal, but it just, the whole experience just felt so much more regulated. And once we got into the event, everybody just felt super, super regulated. Everyone is, because I think having
I suppose we probably won't go into too much detail about exactly the ins and outs, but we'll say there was activities for people to do, throughout. It wasn't just, maybe from what I was saying, it might sound like it's just like, okay, go off and play in the woods. Like, there's a structuring of activities that was part of my facilitation. And but the great thing about having that in a woodland space is you're surrounded by everything else all the time, in a way that if you were in a room, even maybe if you were on a walk, because with a walk you're kind of you're I don't know, you're going forward the whole time, you're busy, you're moving, if everyone's walking together, maybe there wouldn't be as much time to stop and, kind of, and land, whereas this was all in the one place. So, like someone could just kind of just sit and look at some leaves, you could just really, there's so many opportunities for regulation when you're in the one space in a woodland. From all senses, like from sight and sound and smell and everything, really helps. Yeah,
it's amazing. So there was different activities. I loved the scope of activities that you had chosen. This is also the first time that anybody else had facilitated an event at Conscious Connections. Usually I lead and then I have an assistant, whereas in this I was just like, over to you. And I really love, that was very reflective for me of my trust in you also.
Yeah.
I remember Ryan asking me do you feel nervous? And I was like, no, I don't really. I feel really good about this. And it was just so beautiful to watch people connecting. So people would Sorcha would explain an activity, we'd maybe do a little demo together, and then people would go off into the woods. And I felt like people were so much more comfortable in the connection. I even remember there was a practice in the demo, we sat back to back, and that can be quite edgy if you're with a stranger at a singles event, having any touch, even when it's platonic and you're sitting back to back. But when people went and did that exercise, that was optional, but it was just an example. And to see how many people were really comfortable to do that, it was just so rewarding. And then to see people off, scattered throughout the woods in their pairs doing their little activities, it was so nice. And I loved what you shared as well around how it gives the opportunity to see people in lots of different ways.
Yes, because they were very different kinds of activities, or I tried to have a range of different things that people would be doing, some, for example, just maybe focusing on one sense more than the other, or some are more active and some are more sitting. And it gives you a chance to see how someone is when they're being playful or creative, or how they move, or how they sit, how they're quiet, how they listen. You're getting so many different opportunities to see people in different modes. And I think even people enjoy that. It stretches you a little bit, rather than if you're in if you're on a typical date, let's say, and you're out with someone, you're having dinner and you're sitting, it's very, apart from the food, you're very focused on each other when you're in this kind of date. And it's quite, you're waiting for the food, and it's,
it's like an interview.
It's hard for it to not be like an interview. You're sat face to face.
Like an interview.
There's no, and then you're talking and talking's great, but you might be nervous and then be like, we're nervous about how I'm coming across, and whereas we're trying to make yourself appear well, a good way, whether that's in good faith or not, just all of it, whereas this is you're just in the activity, but you're still in communication with someone. It's just in a different way, and you get to see a different side of them straight away. Maybe a bit of that, I'm just thinking now, also comes from the kind of work that I do and that we did together. So when you work with someone and you're working in the outdoors, you get to you're how do I say this, you're with them in loads of different modes, you're problem solving together, and you're even physically lifting things together. There's a coordination when you're with someone in that way, which is it's communication at a different level, which is nice to do.
Yeah, it's like finding your flow together. That's what I think about, like us, how we work well. Like when we've worked in the garden, it's like because we just found that flow, and it didn't. And then there was the other aspects of like friendship growing and laughter and enjoyment and all of that. But ultimately, it came down to feeling in flow, and that's what these practices. And I love that. I want to come back to the word fun. And this was some of the feedback that we got. Like we got a lot of people filled out feedback forms, which was great, and. Yeah, there was this feedback also of just like the invitation to play in nature. And I love that because we take life so seriously. And as adults, we forget to laugh and be lighthearted and have fun and have the opportunity to play with other adults. And that's what this was. So all of the activities were, really edited for adults as far as school activities and paired activities, so it worked really well for the singles event, but there was a lot of fun, a lot of invitation for fun in there. And it's like, fun, creativity, finding flow. Loads of people at dates afterwards. I think that says it all.
That's great. Good to know.
Yeah. I heard back from one person, they were like, I had a date with this person and then I saw somebody else from the event on a date with somebody else from the event, and I was like, wow. And they were all at the woods as well, not the woods where we went, but another woods, which I also think was really beautiful.
Nice.
They're having their date at the woods afterwards.
Lovely. Yeah,
that's the best part.
Yeah, totally,
well, part of the best part. Sometimes it's just like getting awesome people together and being outdoors in nature. I'm like, when I think I left that event being like, this is it, like this is what I want to be doing with my life. And I felt like that a few times where like when I trained as a hike leader, and when I was camping a lot, also just wanting to bring people into nature because it's so nourishing, and I feel that that's what this event really serves, is that deeper nourishment and a way to meet like a really cool group of people and have loads of fun whilst you're doing it in a regulated way because you're out in nature.
Absolutely because that's the thing, like it's if you're out in a space like that, it's always a net good, like even if you come away from it thinking like, oh, maybe, no one there, particularly would be someone for me. You've had a lovely day outside in the woods, meeting people, and like it's a net good,
Absolutely. And I always encourage people that anyway, like coming to any of the events, especially the singles events, like come for the day and the enjoyment of the day, and if you meet somebody, it's a bonus rather than coming for just to meet somebody, because it puts so much pressure on it when you're just like, I'm just here to have a good time and let's see who else is here that I might connect with. It kind of just allows a whole other level of relaxation and enjoyment into the event. And I think ultimately I would definitely say that for anybody who's joining us on the next one, come for the day itself, and then any dates that you might get from it are such a bonus. Will we share the details of the event? Is there anything else that you want to share before we kind of move into wrap up mode?
I don't think so. I think that's pretty good. Looking forward to it.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more months in the summer so you could do a few more.
It'd be a bit, I don't know, it'd be a whole other thing to do a winter one, wouldn't it? Like imagine that kind of dead of winter, the fire, everyone huddled around a fire, it's different kind of energy.
Yeah, it is. No,
Probably
it worked
not.
really well doing it. And now, so our next one is July 18th, which is still in the height of summer. The location is beautiful. It's great as well when we have the woods, because there is just like shelter there, and actually this place in the woods, there is a permanent fire pit, so we probably will have a fire, which we didn't have the last time because we wouldn't just make a fire where there isn't already one. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful native woodland down by the river. Ballygannon Woods is where it is in Wicklow. People travel from all over, so even if you're not from Wicklow, we're going to travel up from Clare. And there is currently just men's tickets available. The women's tickets sold out super, super quick. So if you're a man and you like the outdoors and you're single, please do join us. You can join via the link on the website. I'll put it, it's in the bio as well. It's in the Instagram bio. ConsciousConnectionsEvents.com. We're meeting in the afternoon. We're running until the evening. And it'll be really nice. There'll be a short walk So you do need like a moderate level of fitness. And there's also like, you're sitting down, you're standing up, you're moving around. You don't need to be super fit. Like, it's not a big hike. I think a lot of people thought it was a hike the last time because we do so many hikes. Everyone was like, I'm coming for the hike. I'm like, it's not a hike. So it's not a hike, but there will be a short walk just to get from like the car park to the spot in the woods where we're going to host the event. And yeah, that's it really. It's a Saturday. It's going to be amazing. We can't wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much, Sorcha. I've really enjoyed the chat.
Yeah,
I feel
me too.
it also kind of energizes me for the event to have the
Yeah.
chat like this, where I'm like actually
Yeah.
feel super perked up and like, woo, it's in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
Good. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank you,
having me
everybody.
on.
Yes, my pleasure.